city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams. NYC.
What's going on? It's Jay Ellis from Knick of Time Show, giving you that Knicks talk just in the nick of time. And listen, man, chill out, stop the parade, deflate the floats. All right. The Knicks did not win the Summer League championship, but we got all the way to the end to lose to the Portland Trail Blazers 85-77, led by Quentin Grimes, who had 19 points, 3 assists, Miles McBride with 17 points, 6 rebounds, and Jericho Sims with 13 points and 4 rebounds. And we're going to talk all about that, the Summer League, our guys, and the latest in the Donovan Mitchell news. Before we even get into that, I'm going to just introduce my guys real quick, okay? So first and foremost, you already know who it is. I call him the man, the myth, the legend, the guy with the stats and the facts.
Ryan G's in the building. I mean, today I was expecting to celebrate a Knicks Summer League championship, but unfortunately it didn't work out that way. So it is what it is. But I'm still proud of the young guys and the way they performed during the Summer League.
Yeah, man. And of course, let me introduce my guy, Lee Escobar from Posting and Toasting. What's going on, Lee?
What's going on, y'all? You know, these Knicks be nicking.
The Knicks be nicking and the Tibbs be tibbing. But Tibbs was sitting today, so we can't sitting down today. We couldn't even blame Tibbs. But it's all good. It's all good. We tried, man.
Fire Dice Hashimoto. Nah, I'm just kidding.
Fire Dice. Oh, man.
Oh, man.
The Fire Dice chants have started. Oh, man. I feel like everybody would give Dice a chance for a time next season. I'm not even going to hold you. I feel like that's would be the vibe. Everybody be ready for Dice, man. I'm ready for Dice too. All right, but let's get into it, man. This game was interesting. It started off a little bit slow. It looked like the Knicks and the Portland Trail Blazers had a little bit of the jitters, and they was missing easy shots. But for me, when I was looking at the team, it just looked like, one, we couldn't stop their two-man game, and two, we couldn't hit shots, man. It seems like the three ball was just not flowing for us. Quentin Grimes was missing. McBride didn't start hitting to the end. It just seemed like we never really got together shooting the ball outside of like point blank layups to me. I don't know. What did you see, Ryan?
Yeah, it's just funny because Blazers were the only team that the Blazers were the only team that the Knicks Summer League team lost to this whole Summer League season, or whatever you want to call it. They lost to the Blazers earlier, then they lost to the Blazers again in the championship. And the one thing that the Blazers did that bothered the Knicks was their defensive pressure and the length of the team. They have a team full of guys with like wingspans like 6'11", etc. And their defensive pressure just kind of bothered the Knicks a bit. Like you said, the two-man game bothered the Knicks as well, especially with Williams and Watford. And I think the Blazers showed the value of a stretch five, because the stretch five often, I think Watford, Sims often had to come out to guard Watford at the three-point line.
Yeah.
Which left Sims away from the basket. And then whenever they missed a shot, Blazers were there to gang rebound, get second opportunities. And I think that's what killed the Knicks a lot too. But overall, the Knicks, the Blazers just had the better team. And, I'm still proud of the young guys and the way they played. But, the Blazers gave the Knicks a lot of problems today.
Yeah, what do you see, Lee?
Man, that first quarter when we forced 9 turnovers from the Blazers, I was like real hot in my group chats, talking mad shit, like trying to ramp up the Knicks and win this chip, bring it on home. And that really fell apart, especially in the second half. Out of the Blazers' 8-man rotation, 5 guys shot over 50%, and they had a 6 guys shoot over 45%. So they weren't just hitting it from 3, they were hitting from all over the place. Sims was just getting dragged out to the 3-point line, as Ryan said, from their stretch 5s and 4s who can hit 3s, and he just was a non-factor on the block. Really had his most disappointing game as a rebounder as well. There's one thing I thought I'd bet my savings on. It's Sims getting double-digit rebounds, and I think he only came up with like 3 a night. So the entire team were a bunch of bums, with the exception, in my opinion, I thought Faron Hunt had some good energy. Wasn't great on the stat line, but he played from the start of the buzzer to the end of the buzzer. He played with 100% energy. Doesn't mean that I don't like Grimes, I don't like McBride, but I saw some lapses energy-wise and efficiency-wise from the rest of the roster.
Yeah, both of those guys weren't as efficient as he wanted to be. It seemed like they was really trying to give it to Grimes. They were trying to really prevent him from really shooting and taking over the game. And I don't know, I felt like a lot of the times Grimes was for the first few quarters at least, Grimes was passing the ball and guys were just missing layups. I was just like, how many? I'm like, for a few times, I'm like, good pass, Grimes, blown layup. Oh, good pass, Grimes, oh, blown layup. To me, it was looking like Grimes was playing point guard a lot of the time. I don't know. Was it me? It looked like it was like point Grimes and then McBride sometimes if you felt like it. Like, I don't know. Was Grimes playing more point guard?
Me and Ryan were having these discussions like the second, third, and fourth game of Summer League. I was critical of Grimes' overall offensive repertoire. He really settled for that three-point shot way too much. And even though the stats were great, he was at top 5 in scoring, I think, like around 23 points per game. Mm-hmm. Most of those points, the wide majority, were coming on the 3-ball. It wasn't a whole lot of intermediate game. It wasn't a whole lot of drive to the basket. And we really saw like RJ year 1 bricking at the basket, finishing around the rim from Grimes. I think it's a major thing he's going to have to improve. It was going to be a huge part of the rotation, even more so start. I'm not overreacting to the Summer League, but this was game-to-game repetitive things I saw was Grimes really settling for the 3-ball. Took 11 tonight from the perimeter, only made 2, only made 5 shots overall. So that's only 3 shots he took that weren't 3-pointers that went in. And one of those I know was a late game garbage shot where he's like wide open, 15 feet away from the basket and hit like a wide open J when they're already down by double digits.
Yeah, in general, the Knicks shot 24% from 3, which is atrocious. McBride 2 for 5 for 40%. Fair Hunt 1 for 2, but that really a lot of that was really Grimes from 2 of 11, really. So I mean, you could put that one on Grimes. I mean, overall, Grimes is not going to be point Grimes for this big of a stretch in the regular season game.
Sure.
So like, there's a lot of things you're not going to see. Like he's going to be way more effective when he's not on the ball as much, getting more of those threes into rhythm or off of a curl or things of that nature. He's not going to see the same type of shots. So I don't expect to see these type of percentages kind of translate. But what I'm hoping does translate is some of the like off the dribble stuff that he saw, the things that he was working on in the off season. That's the big picture for me, and he's improved in that regard. So I'll take that good from Grimes any day of the week. You know.
Yeah. I also want to throw in too, like, we do complain about Grimes' shot selection and stuff like that, but we also have to consider the fact that, with this Summer League team, he was the number 1 go-to guy. So, defenses were going to focus more on him, and, and he's basically seeing defenses he's not going to see during the regular season, because during the regular season, he's going to play with guys that's going to demand more of the defensive attention. So I think, with Grimes' development within Summer League and the game he played in Summer League, I think it'll translate to the regular season where it's like, he'll be given more space.
Yeah. Because
of the guys he's playing with on the floor, which means he'll have more wide open threes. So he'll be able to knock those down, I think, at a pretty good rate this upcoming season. And also the improvements he showed with the playmaking and getting to the basket, I think he'll have more space to do that during the regular season with the lineups he'll be playing with. So, I think we have to also keep that in mind too. Like he's basically seeing defenses that he's not going to see during the regular season, and they're not going to focus on him as much as they did during the Summer League. Yeah, man. And I mean, overall, Grimes had a great Summer League, and I'm pretty sure Utah is thinking the same thing. All right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. We'll get to that later, but I'm pretty sure Utah's like great Summer League Grimes. Let's talk about it, Leon. All right. Sims as well. This was another Sims game where I love his energy, but it's not his usual game. Only 4 rebounds on the night, but I can't even blame him because he was forced to kind of guard it outside the perimeter. But he still has certain things to work on. But like we see it all Summer League, it was nice to see him kind of like step out of his comfort zone. It's funny when the game counts.
I'm like, no. I have to remember myself. This is just summer league and not to be too invested, and let the kid try something because he tried like some between the legs pull up foul shot, and I'm like, we trying to catch up, Sims, and this is not the time to experiment. But like, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. What it is, man. I liked what I've seen from Sims overall so far. Oh man, you can go ahead and leave if you have anything to add to that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Sims has improved his handle in the sense where he's 5 or 8 feet away from the basket. He can develop some space between him and his defender. Maybe even do like a quick low turnaround. We didn't see any of that last year. It was all, catch and score, lob passes, alley oops. Now he can actually put the ball on the floor a little bit, 1 to 2 dribbles, and then get himself in a position to score. But to me, that's a huge improvement. That's the type of stride I want to see for a third straight center who's going to play about 12 to 14 minutes a game. That's all you can really ask for besides development 3-point shot, which he's not there yet. But I've been happy with Sims and Ferran Hunt over 2 guys that I've liked every minute that they've played during summer league. I just, it's Grimes and McBride I've been a little bit harder on.
Yeah, I agree. What did you like about Ferran Hunt's game today? Cause I don't know. I felt like a little frustrated with Ferran Hunt's game today. I don't know. It seemed like he wasn't always making the right decisions to me, or he was in like the wrong place. And he always tries though. He gives it 100%.
That's why I love him.
But
that's exactly it. He always tries, and he never plays outside of his abilities. He understands what he is. He's a guy on the fringes of the NBA, trying to make a team, getting out of a G League, at least sign a 2-way contract, or at least a 10-day with a team after summer league. I think the Knicks will give him a shot this year after giving him some experimentation in the G League last year. But he doesn't play outside of himself. I'm looking at the stats here. He took 2 3-point shots, only made one of them 50%. He didn't get on a Grimes level where he's chucking 11 threes and only hitting 2. He knew when to stop. And he took them in rhythm and inside of the offensive scheme that Dice Yashimoto was playing. Not too many turnovers either. He's not someone who's going to be handling the ball a whole lot, but he can get downhill. There was one possession where he took it all the way from the inbounds pass downhill to score for a layup. And it wasn't just like, everyone gave up because Portland's up by 12. They were crowding him, and he was maneuvering his way around defenders. I think there's some chance there to roll the dice on him as our 14th, 15th guy off the bench. God forbid someone gets injured, he'd come in to pinch and play some ball. But I like the energy and hustle, man. That's what you want to see from a guy who's trying not to get cut.
I agree, man. Listen, I don't know what's going to happen with these trades. Listen, it's Donovan Mitchell. We'll talk about the Donovan Mitchell thing, but a lot of these rumors is like, okay, if it gets crazy, who's left? Ferran Hunt. like Ferran Hunt, go.
3-and-D.
He can shoot threes and play D, and he can get to the rim, and he has a little bit of athleticism. Some nights he looks really good. Tonight, not as good, but still, still an active long guy who plays power forward. But I can still see him play some wing, if anything. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Ryan.
I think he pretty much said it right there. It's a guy that he's gonna play with a big energy, play defense. His shot selection is usually good. Tonight, he had some trouble scoring at the rim, but it's like which Knicks didn't have trouble shooting at the rim tonight with the way the Blazers were playing defense. Yeah, so you really can't put that on Hunt, but he has been one of the better performers on the team this summer league, and I am looking forward to hopefully seeing him getting a chance with the Knicks roster this upcoming season.
Right. I'd rather he play than Keels. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he need to go to the G League. He needs some time there.
Man, woof, I'm giving this man.
Watchers. Keels needs some Weight Watchers from one big boy to another big boy. He needs to get about 15, 20 moves. His motor, his hustle, his offensive awareness, all of it is bogged down by his excess weight. And really, he's a really solid facilitator. I got to give him credit. I think his best attribute is ability to see the floor and pass and find open cutters and open 3-ball guys on the corners. But outside of that, he was an embarrassment on the court. Dude just has no motor. He doesn't try, dive for loose balls. Ferran Hunt and him are the perfect counterbalance to each other. Everything I loved about Ferran Hunt from a guy who just needs to do that to stay on the team, you didn't see that at all from Keels. It turns under laziness, man.
Man, I've seen the fake close out from Keels all day today. Like I'm gonna run to the 3-point line. Never mind. Like I see, he's like I just see him raise his hand, run, and then like run away. I'm just like, how many fake hustle plays can you do in a game? He had, if that was a stat like a fake closeouts, he would lead the league in fake closeouts because he fake closed out all night tonight. And then when the game was on the line, we had cut it to like 5 points, I believe, and Keels had the ball. I was like, no. he went to the hole and kind of like rolled it off the rim. I was done. I was done with Keels. I mean, thankfully we've hit on a lot of draft picks, and we can wait on this one, and hopefully he comes to fruition a little later.
Dice played him 20 minutes, and I think when he's in those 4-minute increments, he just tired after about a minute and a half. He's already spent, and for the rest of the time he's in there, it's 4 on 5.
Yeah, man, you can't be like me, man. You can't play in 4-minute increments and run out of gas. All right, you an NBA player, right? You gotta get your cardio up, and Tips is not gonna have that, man.
Like I said, my man, I'm in the G League, and I'm hoping 2 to 3 years time, I see him get it, and then I look at it, and I'm like, oh, so this is what they saw in him when they drafted him. Now I'm hoping that's the case. I'm hoping that's the case. Dude.
I'm hoping that's the case. Yo, shout out to the chat real quick. Shout out to Vice Chops. He says only Sims showed up. Yeah, and Sims looked kind of pissed today. I ain't gonna hold you. He looked mad. Vibe says Brimes didn't show up. I mean, his jump shot stayed home. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Grimes' jump shot stayed home. He showed up. He tried. He plays defense. I
agree with that. He played defense.
He played defense. He tried to take it to the hole. He tried to set up teammates. The jump shot wasn't falling. This is the day we really needed it to fall, because it got to a point whenever Portland was open for an open 3, they was hitting it, and it was like they was hitting theirs and we was missing ours.
Yeah.
So yeah, we needed that.
I just want to see half the shots be 3-pointers, not more than half. He took 16 shots, 11 threes. Get that down to 50% of your shots from a 3-point line. Mix it up a little bit to hit the hole.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And McBride, man, I feel weird talking about McBride because I feel like he didn't. Because when you compare McBride last year to GD McBride to this McBride, like McBride didn't really get like the full-time point guard duties to me. So it's like really weird to evaluate him. And he did solid job. He definitely did a solid job. But I don't know, it kind of gives me kind of like an inkling on the priority here. You know what I mean? Like the coaching staff and the coaches are really prioritizing Grimes for McBride, which I mean is not a surprise. But overall, solid job from McBride. I still wanted to see him get to the hole more. I've seen him get to the hole one game, which was the game before, and with some success. He tried it today. He kind of drew some offensive fouls trying to go to the hole, but I appreciate the effort because that's really what I really want to see from McBride is him mixing up not just the jump shooting but going to the hole as well. Even though today we probably need the jump shooting more. to be honest with you, we probably need the jump shooting even more today from McBride than going to the hole. I don't know. What do you say about that, Ryan?
Yeah, McBride. McBride's always giving solid performances. Always playing with a lot of energy. Always giving a lot of energy on defense. I agree with you. I could have definitely, I definitely want to see McBride actually drive to the basket more. But on a day like today, with the way the Blazers were playing defense,
yeah,
I'm not gonna really put it on McBride like that. I'm not gonna really be hard on him. Saying that he should have got to the basket more, whatever the case may be. I think McBride played a pretty decent game.
Yeah.
Seeing how the game went. I think McBride put in a pretty solid performance.
I think they really forced us to really make jumpers today. It was like you either cutting through 3 people in a hole or you gotta make a jumper. That's so like this is what. Even though I do want to see McBride get to the hole more, this might have been not being a game for that. This might have been a game for jump shots in general. But yeah, I digress. So unless you have anything else to add, Lee, we can keep this conversation moving.
Yeah, McBride's been solid. I think he's more of a 2 than he is a 1. He just happens to be short, so we put him in point guard positions. But a lot of his players, the entire summer league's been playing without a true point guard out there. McBride's been doing a pretty good job impersonating one. I've been happy with the defense he's playing. The energy he brings. He's a solid rebounder for his size, but he's not a true facilitator. He did better than expected for me throughout the summer league.
Yeah, I think he passes the ball. It's just that one. It's that one skill. It's just getting to the hole and breaking down the defense, and like that. It's just that one thing. But I think he's the type of guy who will move the ball if he needs to move the ball. Like he had a few 9-assist game and high assist games in the G League. So I think he has that. He just, if he unlocks that one part of his game, and you can, it's just all when you don't have the speed, then it's all about shiftiness and angles and things of that nature. You know what I mean?
It's going to be him for having Brunson too. I think the same way Quickly got better as a facilitator, playing next to Derrick Rose. Now McBride is going to have some opportunities playing next to an actual real point guard instead of a small forward, pretending to be a point guard. I think he'll increase his facilitating as well.
Man, looking at Brunson, McBride, and RJ in particular, man. I think the way that Brunson's footwork works, I feel like RJ can really stand to look for it because Brunson is such like he's a small guard who uses his strength with the footwork, and RJ has the strength part down pat. So I think Brunson and RJ just watching Brunson for a season, I think is gonna help RJ out a lot. And if he really starts to pay attention and trains with him, because they kind of have similar, like he can really mimic his game off of Brunson's low key. Like, because Brunson isn't super quick either. He just bulldozes people, uses footwork, and shoots the rock. Like, there it is for you. Laid out blueprint right there for you in your backyard, RJ Barrett. You know what I mean? But, yo, let's get to it, though, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat so far. I'm going to touch on some Donovan Mitchell news. I'm about to say Donovan McBride. Donovan Mitchell news. And some news that came out since our last conversation, all right? So, first and foremost, shout out to the Don Leon Rose, because this Donovan Mitchell Knicks conversation has been going on behind the scenes for a minute, and it's come out that the Utah Jazz have asked for Mitchell Robinson, RJ Barrett, and three first round picks, and Leon Rose said, hell to the no. Said no, shut it down. So, gunshots from Leon Rose, who's not having it. I love this man. This man is not going to give up too much. So, everybody who's worried about RJ Barrett leaving, RJ Barrett is not going anywhere. I don't care what ESPN says. RJ Barrett is here to stay. And now that Mitchell Robinson has signed with the New York Knicks, he can't even be traded until, December or January? So, and I don't think if a Mitchell deal happens, it's going to be before the season starts. So Mitchell will be here to stay. All right. Also in that article was Utah expressed interest in Quentin Grimes, which is interesting because when we was talking about this earlier, we was like, well, maybe this is the guy we probably should keep. You know what I mean? Because of our deficiencies with the height and defense. The defensive concern. So, how do you feel about Quentin Grimes being included in a trade package? Do you feel like it's a deal breaker, or should we try to steer the conversation to somebody else? What do you feel about a package centered around Quentin Grimes? I'll start with you, Lee.
I'm okay with it. I don't see Grimes as an untouchable piece. I like him. I think he's going to be. He gets my vote for the guy who should start this upcoming season in place of Fournier. But I'm not going to not push the button for a Donovan Mitchell trade because of Quentin Grimes. For me, the line is saying it's Obi Toppin and RJ Barrett are the two guys I don't want to give up. Because I want those guys to play next to Spida, not because I think they're better than Donovan Mitchell. I want to see them as a unit together in Knicks jerseys. But Quentin Grimes, I think, is going to be one of the centerpieces along with Emmanuel Quickly that will go back when this trade eventually goes down. To speak on that part, too, there was also another trade that got shut down between Utah and New York for 6 first-rounders, a combination of swaps and picks, and then Quickly, Obi, Grimes, and I think McBride was in that conversation as well. No way. And I agree with that as well.
Quickly, Obi, that's our whole heart right there. That's the whole bench mob. As Raw would say, the whole mob deep would be going to the Utah. Hell, oh man, no.
Leon Madon shut it down. 2 for 2.
2 for 2, man. Playing defense like Mutombo over here. Remember when Mutombo was on the Knicks?
No.
Yeah, swat that. Yeah, swat those trade offers away. Hell no. Hell to the no. I definitely wouldn't do that either. I'm not even sure. I don't know how true this is. What were you on? Have you? Because there's been rumors flying everywhere. There's been like fake accounts posting rumors. Did you hear anything about Grimes and Obi are a done deal to go? I've been seeing that floating around, but I have no idea the validity of that. I haven't seen Ian Begley's mention it or anything
at all. That's the first time I'm hearing that. Yeah, I mean, if Ian ain't posting it, if Woj ain't posting it, I don't believe it. So.
All right. Because my heart stopped when I heard Obi's name. That's all. Because if Obi is gone, I'm like, damn, we really are committing to Randall for.
Yep.
And that's it. Which I do not. I would not like. But listen. So here's the deal, guys. According to Ian Begley, Utah knows where the Knicks stands. The Knicks know where Utah stand, and likely a deal is not going to be done soon. They're going to go back to each other probably in a week or two, or a deal might be done before the season starts. This can drag out. We already know Leon is a pretty stubborn guy, and Danny Ainge is the same. So this can drag out. This can literally drag out. So it's going to be a wait and see. Now, I don't know. Like I said before, there's other teams who might want to make that trade, like the Miami Heat. But they really don't have a package that can compare with us, really. I know they would have to actually trade for first round picks. And if they actually do trade for first round picks, we can simply just take one out the treasure chest. And by them trading their assets for another first rounder, they're depleting their own assets. So I think that's too much of a risky game for them to even play, knowing that we're in play. So it's looking very, very real that Donovan Mitchell is coming to the Knicks. And I feel like he knows it too. That's why he's canoodling with the Brooklyn Cyclones, and he was having dinner with IQ and things like that.
On the Mets game, throwing first pitches at the Mets.
Yeah,
playing Pop Smoke in the Lambo.
Exactly. Getting that true New York energy under here with the Pop Smoke in the Lambo. It seems like a done deal to me. But the real question is, and I know Lee had talked about this earlier, is how much is he worth? Is he really is he a superstar? I'm gonna let Lee brought this to the table earlier before in pre-production setting up. So I'm gonna let Lee set up this question. Go ahead, Lee.
This question popped in my head after watching ESPN pretty much dog all over Donovan Mitchell. Now that the Knicks are involved in trade rumors, now he's just a chuck and bum. That 25 points per game mean nothing. He gets all the shots. He sits one like Habadrupi Knicks, like a small backboard. Same old, LOL, Knicks for clicks. I mean,
moving the goalposts.
So it made me think, though, in realistic terms, three knowledgeable Knicks fans, where do we rank Donovan Mitchell to other stars in the NBA? Is he tier 1 with KD, LeBron, Giannis, Luka? Is he tier 2 more with the Jimmy Butler, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal? Is he tier 3 with the Zach LaVine, Jaylen Brown, Darius Garland? Me personally, I think he's tier 2. I think he's a guy that you can get on your team and take you to the playoffs every single year as the best player on the team. Doesn't mean you're the 1 seed, even though Utah was 1 seed at one time with him as the best player. But I think you can be top 4, top 5, certainly in the East, with Donovan Mitchell as your best player, and maybe get out of the first round depending on what pieces you have around him. I would put him as a second star, not a first, and obviously not someone you mortgage your entire future to get. How do y'all feel?
I would say tier 2 as well. I was trying to think about who do you say is that third tier? The Zach LaVines.
Yeah, I put Jaylen Brown, Darius Garland, Brandon Ingram tier 3. I put Jimmy Butler, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal tier 2.
Got you.
Trae Young tier 2.
Like I would put him in that Bradley Beal-ish tier. To me,
yeah.
I'll put him in the Bradley Beal-ish tier. And the thing is, when I'm looking at his body of work and what he did in Utah, like Utah was like a number 1 team in the West for, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So because they were a number 1 team in the West and he was the guy there, I can't really put him in a tier 3 situation. And even when you compare who's in that tier 2, you said Bradley Beal. Like I put him over Bradley Beal in my eyes. Even though Bradley Beal is a beast, but what has Bradley Beal done for the Wizards? You know what I mean? Like the Wizards haven't really been. They've been bottom tier. They haven't been top in the East, even with Bradley Beal.
Yeah, I think him and Jimmy Butler to me are like side by side, the same level player. Jimmy's better all around, much better defensively, but I think Donovan Mitchell's a better scorer, better offensive, a better facilitator than Jimmy. But I think that if you swap them, I think Miami gets to the East Conference Finals with Donovan Mitchell in place of Jimmy Butler in the surrounding cast.
That's interesting. Why do you? See, I'm a Jimmy guy. So I don't know. It's funny. I put Jimmy a little bit above Donovan, only because of I think it's the experience and he's gone farther to me in the playoffs. So I count that, and his ability to like take over. He just needs help to me. And the thing, you know what? The same could be said about Donovan too. Like Donovan needs help as well. So the same could be said. But I do feel like Jimmy Butler has done a little bit more with his talent as far as like playoffs and as far as a playoff run. I feel like Jimmy Butler's done a little bit more. And I feel like when the game has been on the line, I've seen Jimmy Butler do it more times than Donovan Mitchell in the playoffs anyway, which is why I would put today, at least, I would put Jimmy Butler over Donovan Mitchell. Anyway.
Not going to argue that. I think Jimmy's done more with a better team and a much better coach, though.
True. Yeah, like when you saw Jimmy do with the 76ers, and then when you saw him what he did with the Miami Heat, I'm like, I have to go Jimmy over Donovan. Now, can Donovan surpass Jimmy? Maybe. It's gonna be harder for him because I know when it comes to guards, it's harder in general for guards to kind of surpass. I feel like it's hard for strong guards to surpass a strong wing for the most part. Like it happens. I feel like the only times it can really happen is if a guard can like really shoot the lights out from 3, which is why like people like Dame and Steph are like regarded higher to me, which is why which is kind of why I'm high on Quickly, because even though he's not on that Dame Steph level, I'm not saying, but like I mean my irrational Knick mind is like, oh maybe, just maybe he can start to like hit those threes at that rate and cause havoc too, but be a smaller version of that. So, but the thing that Donovan has to lean on though is his body size, you know. So like because he's a bigger guard. And maybe not like Luka big, but he can still find a way as a guard to punish people because of his size, like Luka, like Jalen Brunson. And he's more athletic, so he has a chance to pass him. But I don't know. He has to kind of carve out his own niche there a little bit. To me.
Wait, then Ryan, a tiebreaker.
Huh? Yeah, Ryan. What you got to say?
Well, between Jimmy Butler and Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, and also, what do you think about like where Donovan ranks as well?
Well, right now, I definitely would put Jimmy Butler over Donovan Mitchell as of right now, and I think it's for the reasons that JL has said. Like Jimmy Butler to me is a more all-around player than Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell's definitely the better scorer. I'll definitely give him that over Jimmy Butler. But I think Jimmy Butler's a better overall player, and I've seen Jimmy Butler step up way too many times in the playoffs for me to really put Donovan Mitchell over him. So if I have to choose between Jimmy Butler and Donovan Mitchell, at the moment I'm putting Jimmy Butler over him. But at the same time, Donovan Mitchell is young. You know, so Donovan Mitchell has time. So maybe within time, Donovan Mitchell can get to that level. But yeah, I'm putting Jimmy Butler over him at the moment. But overall with Donovan Mitchell, I do see him as tier 2. I don't see him as that tier 1. You know, I definitely see him as like that guy that's an all-star where if he is the best player on your team, he can lead your team to the playoffs. Like, I think that is definitely Donovan Mitchell. Is just that if he's your best player, the farthest you're going to go is probably the first or second round exit. You're definitely going to need another star player alongside Donovan Mitchell to really put your team over the top, which is the reason why when it comes to trade talks about Donovan Mitchell, I don't want to mortgage my whole future for him because I already know the Knicks are going to have to make another move alongside that Donovan Mitchell move if they're serious about challenging for a title in the future. Those moves where, they're talking about the Knicks giving up 6 picks and like 4 players for Donovan Mitchell, I wouldn't be for that type of trade because I'm like, I still need some assets here to make another move to put the Knicks over the top. So, I mean, I know Ian said that, Danny Ainge knows where Leon is at, and Leon knows where Danny Ainge is at, but I'm just hoping that Leon can get it to a point where the Knicks will, because I know to get Donovan Mitchell here, the Knicks are going to have to give up something significant.
Right.
There's no way the Knicks are going to get Donovan Mitchell here on a bargain, but I would hope that it would be the type of trade where the Knicks at least have some assets left over where if they need to make a future move to put them over the top, they can make that future move.
Well said. I agree.
And shout out to Kanal Ben Loya, who says, you know what? That's why we got RJ here. You know? That's why we have RJ here. Maybe RJ can be that wing. And RJ, this is gonna be one of those. This is gonna be an interesting year. This year is gonna be very interesting to see where RJ fits in this because, like, I don't think you can win in the NBA without like a wing who can punish you, and RJ is that. But then we also could be in a situation where we have 2 guards who can punish you, which we haven't really had that since since Stephon Marbury and Steve Francis.
Oh man.
I'm laughing because Lee sent me an image of Stephon and Lee, and he was just like, part 2 coming soon.
Stephon Marbury and Steve Francis, the good old days. The good old days.
Damn, that's some PTSD flashbacks with that one, bro.
It did not work. It did not. I remember watching that movie going, but they're the same guy almost. It was like,
yeah,
crazy. Oh man, but yeah, it would be nice. Yeah, RJ. I want to see what RJ does with this team, man. And how the shots gonna be distributed once again with RJ, Jalen Brunson, and Donovan Mitchell here. And Julius Randle. Remember that guy?
That's the thing. That's what worries me is that we're going to mortgage draft picks and young players and bring Donovan Mitchell into a situation of unresolved tension with Julius Randle and unresolved roles. Like, what's the pecking order? How does Randle see himself with Donovan Mitchell on the team? It truly worries me to mortgage all those assets and bring them in, and Randle still here on the roster.
Low key, Obi Toppin fits better with that starting lineup.
For sure.
100%. I mean, at least offensively, the only thing I can say is Randle gives you the rebounds. Because Obi doesn't rebound. But when it comes to like touches and like Obi's gonna move the ball, Obi's gonna run the floor. Like, I feel like in all other aspects of the game, I feel like he fits with that first squad better. That's just me.
Yeah.
But that's just me. All right. We got a call.
He doesn't need the ball to dominate.
What'd you say?
He doesn't need the ball to dominate like Julius Randle does. I mean, it's like who's gonna hit the rock the majority of a game? You got Brunson who needs his on ball, Donovan who's on ball, Randle who's on ball. It's like, oh man, that's headache.
Exactly. And shout out, I found this list, top 50 players list. Right now I see Donovan Mitchell, they have him at 15. They have him 15 in the top.
In today's NBA?
When did this article come out? Let's see.
Is that the athletic ranking?
When did this article come out? This article came out. I'm trying to check. While I'm checking, we can go to JT. I know we got callers online. If you want to call, dial 319-527-6241. If you don't know what the number is, if you look on the screen, right under the score, you can see the phone number to call in. You call in right there. First caller up is JT. JT, let us know what you want to talk about, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What up, JT?
Yeah, I've been meaning to call in for a while, but just been busy. This whole starting off with the beginning of the show, I wanted that summer league chip. I wanted it bad,
Yeah.
but
Man.
hey, it's summer league. Portland had our number. But of course, the hot topic that everybody just keeps talking about, this Donovan Mitchell thing. I don't want it to happen off the strength of no one. We don't have shout outs to the other panelist. He said it best. We don't really have the most defined roles, and we don't know how it's gonna fit. We don't know how it's gonna fit with Julius because I don't see Julius going anywhere. So is Julius gonna be ready to give demands to? Especially now, RJ want to take the step. We don't know what's going on. We don't know how it's gonna be. So that's kind of why with something like this, it's kind of I know everybody keeps saying, people who are super pro this trade is oh, we'll just figure it out. We ain't got no choice, but it's kind of that's kind of what one of the biggest things that's very concerning. It's along with mortgaging the whole future because, of course, you bring in Donovan Mitchell, now you're in win now mode. Don't care what nobody say. You're in win now mode because you have Donovan Mitchell, who is a multiple time All-Star, et cetera, et cetera. So if I'm always saying, if we have to make this trade, if this is going to happen, if this inevitably is going to happen, you cannot get rid of both your assets and your young players because we have too many holes in our whole scheme that they won't take us over to the top and make us competitive for a very long time. And then also the money. Are you comfortable with Julius Randle, Donovan Mitchell, and Jalen Brunson and RJ Barrett as your guys for the next 4 years? And especially with Julius, we don't know because and the whole thing with him is just the attitude. The attitude is what's in between the ears. That's pretty much what it all comes down to. So that's just what my concern is. Other than that, bringing in if everything matches well, because also fit is very important. People keep looking at stats and all that stuff, but if these guys don't fit, then it's just not going to work. We've seen it happen too many times. Yeah. So if it has to happen, unfortunately, the reason why I'm we got to get rid of Grimes, but we have to find a way to keep Cam because you're either gonna go with trusting Grimes' development, or you're gonna go with the guy that's already there now, and it's gonna be Mitch. And then as far as who else is comfortably get rid of, it's hard to say because you want to say of course I'm an Obi guy, but it's okay, we'd have to get rid of Obi, but now it's how's it gonna fit with Randall? If Randall shits the bed, and you're okay, we might as well have just kept Obi. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And not in the sense of talent-wise, but it just doesn't, it's even worse now because now the only thing that may happen that it could help out Randall is now the attention won't be on Randall as much because you have Donovan Mitchell. So it may help him, but it's hurt him. But it's also for him, again, we always say, the biggest concern is before this Mitchell thing happened, was he ready to, take a step back? Because he was just, the king of New York 2 years ago, and we don't know how his ego would process that. So it's a sticky situation. It's a worldwide mess out here as always in these Knicks streets.
Yeah.
And it's just something I don't know because we have too many question marks.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Shout out to World Wide West.
Yeah.
Shout out to World Wide West. Everywhere
Anyway,
we
go
leave
see
a worldwide mess.
Yeah, man. It's always a mess out here.
Carmelo Anthony trade. If you think about when that trade happened, there were a lot of unresolved questions. We didn't have a point guard. We were bringing in Carmelo, who was, for all intended purposes, a ball-stopping ISO player for Mike D'Antoni's run-and-done system. And we had no depth to surround those two guys once you brought them in, who had overlapping games between Anthony and Stoudemire. This is very similar. Bringing in Donovan Mitchell, who has an overlapping game with Brunson in terms of the way that they play, their height, their size. And there's question marks about Randall. What's his role? Is he the second star? Is he the third? Is he the fourth? If RJ moves up, now that we have Brunson, all playing for a coach that's very elementary when it comes to offense. Thibodeau is not known for having offensive schematics where you can make guys work and make guys fit. He funnels everything to the point guard and lets the point guard figure it out. And there's a lot to figure out for a brand new.
It's a lot. It's is that part? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, so all those things worry me. And if we're going to get Mitchell, I want it to be for a fleece. The entire NBA is damn, they got him for nothing. We basically give away.
I agree.
Danny Ainge he's a smart dude, and he rips off every team he does deals with. So it really worries me moving forward with all these unanswered questions.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And I just want to add this because this is the reason why I don't want the Knicks to mortgage their future for Donovan Mitchell, because if you bring Donovan Mitchell here, there are a lot of concerns that JT said and what Lee said, because first and foremost, you have to think about the small backcourt. Defensively, how's that going to work, especially with a defensive coach in Thibs? How's that going to work out? And then on top of that, you have Randall in that lineup as well. And Randall's not known as a great defender as well. So that's right there. That's three players that are not known for defense in your lineup right there. So that's a concern as well. But this is the reason why I want the Knicks to see if they can try to get Donovan Mitchell here while keeping some of their assets, because the number one thing is you get the talent here. So once Donovan Mitchell is here, you figure it out from there. So now when Donovan Mitchell's here and you give it a try, you have Donovan Mitchell out there and you run him out there with Brunson, Randall, RJ, Mitch. You see how it goes. Okay, if you see that the small backcourt is not going to work, at least, you're going to have to make a year or two go by where Brunson is going to probably become more valuable in a trade, and hopefully you can trade Brunson and a few other pieces and get like another big wing here. Like a wing that's going to play defensively, and then you're going to have Mitchell here with two defensive wings and RJ in another wing, and then if Randall is still here or not, Obi or whatever, Mitch, you have a better defensive team. So now you have that main scorer Mitchell, and you have a better defensive team surrounding him. So now you have a better chance to win in the future. Like the main idea is just to get Mitchell here, then figure it out, but at the same time don't mortgage your future. At least leave the Knicks flexible enough to where if changes need to be made in the future to make the team better and to make the team more competitive to win that title, then that's what you have to do. But if you mortgage the future, then you're going to depend on just Mitchell, RJ, Brunson, and Randall, etc. to carry the load. And if that doesn't work out, then it's like, what the hell you mortgage your future for?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You have to wait like 3 years.
Yeah.
To start to make another move. Unless...
That's what happened in the Carmelo trade. We signed Tyson Chandler, and that was a team we had for like 3 years, with very little ability to get better and maneuver. We had no leverage at all after that.
Yeah, that's really what it is. We have to wait like 3 years to make another move, especially with Julius Randle and Brunson on the books. I'm more concerned about Julius Randle than anything, but I still like the idea of moving him to the Hornets. And shout out to Ken. I know Ken was talking about even moving him to Indiana. You know what I mean?
Having some bonus replacement?
Exactly, some bonus replacement, since they missed out on 8, and it's like maybe they would like that. I don't know, but who knows? But yeah. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to Canal Ben Loya, Sherwin M, JT, B Civilized, and R Mac. Everybody else is rocking the KT show. He says somebody said don't forget about Fournier. I'm hoping Fournier. Fournier probably is going to go in the deal. I would think for the money, just to match salaries, I would think Fournier is going. I would think.
Yeah, I agree. He has to. I mean, who else? Derrick Rose and like 7 other contracts on minimal deals. The math only works with either Randle or Fournier as a centerpiece at this point with Burks and Noel gone.
Exactly. It's like either gonna be Fournier and Rose or together, or it's gonna be like Julius Randle and Hicks or something. So. I'm pretty sure Fournier's. Please, exactly.
Which is sad. That's all the Fournier hive, man. I mean, I might be the only one in that hive.
I mean, he did decent, man. He played out his contract. He's slightly overpaid, but not that much. But he's pretty much. But it is what it is. He did a decent job. He didn't play defense, but he shot the lights out and walked out of here with a 3-point record for the Knicks. So it is what it is. All right. All right, man. All right. I mean, I think, listen, man, we talked about this concept enough. Next time we're here, we'll probably be talking about a Donovan Mitchell trade, all right? And the details of that trade, and we'll probably either be crying or cheering or a combination of both.
Leon Rose for the win, baby.
Exactly. But Leon Rose, man, this is your time. This is your time to shine. This is the time to put your negotiation hat on. Do not fold, all right? Do not fold. Say no with your chest, all right? And Listen, I freelanced for a long time. I'm a freelance artist. I've walked away from plenty of things. I was like, this does not make sense for me. I gotta walk away. Leon, don't be afraid to walk away. They got to tank. That's all I'm gonna say. Utah has to tank. If Utah makes all these moves for picks and don't tank, they're gonna look crazy. They're gonna sit Donovan Mitchell for the whole year. Like, they're gonna want to move him. So those guys are gonna be motivated to make a deal. So let's not overpay and have him, like ESPN say, make the best, the greatest haul in NBA history. Nah, we don't need those problems. We don't need that. All right. So shout out to the chat once again. Shout out to you guys. Steve Eli, C. Williams, and everybody else. Kanal Lawyer. This is a good time to wrap up the show. If you like the show, please hit the like button, the subscribe button, and thank you guys for watching. And like I said, next time we be here, we'll probably be here talking about a Knicks trade that went down for Donovan Mitchell. But also stay tuned. I'm working on something separate from this that hopefully you guys get to see in the following weeks. And so definitely stay tuned to the KOT show for different type of content. All right, Lee, let them know where they can find you, sir.
No doubt. I got some pieces from Deadspin posting this week. One of them is every state that has NBA talent who would win in a bracket tournament, state to state. And the other one is going to be NBA's best fans for every team. So you might see some familiar faces in that one.
Nice,
so you can catch me and posting and toasting.
Nice. So shout out to my guy Lee. Posting and toasting. All right. He does good work. Ryan.
Yes, sir.
Let me know where you can find you, sir.
You can find me on Instagram at Sir G is chillin'.
Sir G is chillin'.
That is SIRG is CHILLIN. You can also find me at Sir G's Corner. Content is coming on Instagram. You can also find me on Twitter at RyanGKOT. You need financial advice. I'm a financial agent. You can hit me up through my DMs on any of my social media accounts, and we can definitely set up an appointment. And it's funny because, I read the comments, right? I just want to say this before we get off. I read the comments, right? And Sherwin is a huge Julius Randle supporter. And he said Julius Randle's 18th in the NBA in defense. I'm looking at the stats right now. I don't see this man nowhere near the top 18 in defense. So I'm wondering where he getting these stats from, because I'm really looking this up right now. And I'm like, I do not see it. So what is it? Is it defensive rating? Is it defensive win shares? What stat are you going by?
This is Ryan G.
That shows that Julius Randle is 18th in the league in defense. Please tell me what stat you are going by, please.
This is Ryan G.
Because look, I watched this man's effort on the court, and there is no way this man's the 18th best defender in the NBA. I'm sorry, the eye test does not see that. I'm sorry.
This is
Mic
Ryan
drop.
G. Man with the stats and the facts. Got the stats. Yeah. That's why he was looking. I was like, why is Ryan looking down? He was getting the stats together. He says, before I hang it up for the summer, let me tell you this.
No, because I'm sorry. If Julius Randle is the 18th best defender in the league, that's when the stats go out the freaking window. That's when I don't trust stats anymore, because access does not prove that. I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
Access don't prove that. I'm sorry.
What year was that? There was one year where he was a good defender. That was the year when the arena was empty.
Yeah.
Retweeting stories from Ballstat Sports, bro. I'm inside. Wherever those stats came from, a legitimate source.
I wasn't even being funny. I was being legit. Like, the year when there was no fans, he was pretty good at defense. He was.
Yeah, but I'm saying we based this on last year. Last year, his defensive stats are not good. So I'm just wondering, where is he getting these stats from? Because I'm looking at the stats right here on NBA.com. I do not see it.
He was playing.
I just don't.
That was his Drew League stats from last year. I don't know. But thank you for those stats and facts, Ryan G. All right, you already know what it is, man. You listen to us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. You could also buy our KOT snapbacks at nicktimeshow.com/catalog. And also follow us on Twitter at the KOT Show, and Instagram at the Nick of Time Show, and Facebook as well at the Nick of Time Show. All right. That is our show. And man, as always, jeez.
Shout out to World Wide West. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess.
Ryan G left a mess out here, guys. That is our show. We are out of here.
Peace.